Good old raisins and peanuts. That is what GORP stands for in the acronym. Personally, I didn't even know it was an acronym. I thought it was an onomatopoeia for the sound that your feet make when you're stomping on the wet, muddy terrain like I'm doing right now. You get what I'm saying. Anyways, as much as we love to pull out the Terex just to Uber around the city, there is a lot of functionality and reasoning behind the name GORPcore, and it's more than just a style. We are about to get into it in this video right here. In terms of the name, it's referencing the outsider's favorite trail mix, which is typically made of calorie-dense foods like granola, these nuts, or dried fruit. But in terms of style, there's a lot more function and utility here than any other fashion genre. Sometimes, need that gore-teasy for when it rains. I need it super light because my thoughts are heavy enough. And I need it cozy because it hurts to have a life without her. But in a world where they got Wi-Fi in the food course, why are we so obsessed with so much real-world functionality? Is it kind of like a fetish of how we live in such a lavish world of luxury and comfort that we somehow need a cosplay and LARP? That we need all this goddamn utility and functionality? Why does stuff have to be so light? Like, why are we measuring clothes in grams? Like, I have a wireless charging pad. Like, I don't need this shit. But then again, right? There's nothing cooler than looking like Mother Nature's kryptonite walking through Melrose. I don't know about you, but it sounds like a good-ass day to me. Okay, but excluding the potential and all the technology and whatever and what GORPcore can do, it's also just a really easy way to justify dressing up. Like, hear me out. What is the real struggle here, right? What's the real struggle? It's not staying dry. It's not how light your goddamn clothes are. The real struggle is finding a viable reason as to explain to yourself, maybe even others, why you dress up so well. Why? Why is there, what's the valid excuse as to why you're wearing mega laces on a Tuesday, huh? Why does anyone need tabbies? What's so special about your goddamn big toe? It needs its own goddamn parking spot. But with GORPcore, you don't really need to explain anything, you know? The functionality and the utility speaks for itself. I want to wear a jacket. Whatever. But then also, it's twinned with a very interesting and dynamic visual aesthetic. You get the best of both worlds. Functionality seems to be the meta in a world where aesthetics outweigh utility, and I don't know about you, that's kind of cool that it's flipped on its head like that. But to stay on the theme of use and functionality, I want to talk about the sponsor of this video, Karma. Definitely the most useful app when it comes to online shopping. So if you're really here and you're not being a goddamn poser with GORPcore, I see you justifying yourself with the waterproof. If you're really about the functionality, you'll stick around. I'm watching you. Stick around. All right, guys. Karma, formerly known as Shop Taggers, our best friend right here. They're the best way to save money online shopping, but you know that. And you can sign up for free with a link down below. And right here, I've been using it to save some items I find interesting coming into spring. Everybody's wardrobe's gotta evolve, and when the Essence and Farfetch sales come along, I'll be the first to know and the first to not pay retail. And you can do the same. It doesn't even matter what aesthetic you're looking for. All you gotta do is sign up and install it by downloading the Chrome extension. As you can see right here, you'll get this blue boy whenever you're shopping. You can kind of move it around too, depending on where you want it. And whenever you get to an item that you like, you just click it right here, bam, and you'll get this drop-down menu. Got a lot of parameters. You can save the item in your size and then get notified via email or push notification on your phone whenever a price changes, has a new coupon, or if it comes back in stock. Because a lot of the items, especially for GORPcore, are very expensive retail due to the utility they actually deliver. And people are buying this stuff to scale mountains, you know? So there's gonna be some money there, but you can always be the first to know when things go on sale in case you're just trying to cross the street. And you can also save it in a specific list to stay organized and know how your pieces might pair together. You get a good visual of what your closet might look, and that's just always nice to have. And on checkout, you can use a coupon checker to make sure you're saving as much as you can as it searches the web for valid coupons that you definitely didn't even know about. And also, you can get Karma Cash right here whenever you shop, sent straight to your PayPal. Just more free money and rewards for using Karma. So go get it now, clicking the link in the description, like I said, and you'll be saving money and shopping better. Get that Chrome extension. Good karma, people. Thank you to Karma for sponsoring all of the videos, all of them. Because even when they're not the sponsor, I probably use the app to buy the clothes to make the video anyways. So GORPcore might have recency bias as to what's hot, but honestly, a lot of the piece selections and the style tropes have been around forever. You got stuff like tech wear, Scandinavian minimalism, normcore, even some Japanese street. We climbing Mount Fuji today, boys. Personally, I think what makes it so hot is its familiarity. It's like the hot girl next door. Not crazy like a model, some stupid shit like techwear. Techwear's a goddamn model. Like, look at this shit. This is ridiculous. It's charming. It's endearing almost. It's the girl next door. No makeup, type beat, just woke up. But also the formality. It's very easy to wear. It's really like, look at techwear. High maintenance ass. Talking about like getting 2 lunches, you know, like valeting the car for dinner type. If you take out Gorpcore, you can eat granola bars at the beach. Like, oh my God. Like, think about it now. Why is it so goddamn special to dress up so much all the time? Like, what if I just want to casually wear a windbreaker and some pants? Like, why is it so hot for the guy in the Subaru to wear a windbreaker and pants? But when I want to wear an acronym J1, oh, I'm not memorizing this shit, hold on. Acronym J1W GTPL jacket with a CP Company nylon crossbody rucksack. But when I want to wear an acronym J1 GTPL jacket with a... God damn it, it's way too long. I'm not memorizing this. Acronym J1 GTPL jacket with a CP Company nylon crossbody rucksack with a Neiman Black Edom discharge cargo pants and a pair of 11 by BBS Salomon Bombas. I'm trying too hard. It's funny, even with Gorpcore, you can kind of pick your trail and go simple or complex. There's really no formality there. Techwear is better when you try to go all in. Honest, let's be honest. Techwear looks good when you double down on it. Normcore looks best when you're not trying. It's really simple as that. Vintage too. Vintage looks really good when you're not trying. Gorpcore, you can kind of pick your poison. It's very inclusive. It's also very friendly to someone stepping in. It's like rock climbing, like at a rock climbing gym. You look at all these goddamn problems. You see the guy doing this bullshit. What is this? Are you this guy or is gravity on? Doesn't matter. You can pick whatever you want to do. And you're gonna have fun either way. Let me show you what I mean by picking into the elements of Gorpcore and showing you where you can go all in or casual and still look good. And this is why it is the hottest style 2022. God damn. Okay guys, in my opinion, one of the hardest things that anyone can get into when starting a style that they're not familiar with is color, because color is just kind of hard to deal with because it's hard to get good color combos and some nice variation when you don't have a lot of pieces. Let's just be honest. You're not going to have 3 different shades of red windbreakers. Okay, here I got the setup. We're just going to pretend that we're on a hike or something, you know? We're actually using the Gorpcore. Here's a perfect example of a monochrome Gorpcore fit, right? You have all the pieces that make up the style, but you don't need to be too flashy with showing off all these different colors. You can kind of get the idea down grayscale. But there's a lot of magic here. I'm going to pull up more examples. Right over here, these 2 fits. It's really easy to have monochrome pieces and the occasional statement piece here like this pair of green pants or this nice blue Arc'teryx beanie. Not too big of a statement, but hey, we're not talking too loud, you know what I'm saying? The magic with Gorpcore is not only can you go full grayscale, not only can you take it easy, Gorpcore also looks amazing when you are going full color. Here we have a group of guys, just a bunch of fucking pals gorping around with some earthy tones. And here we got this fit right here, working with some blues and some greens. We even got this guy right here who wants to tag along. He has some nice yellows. And as you can see, the color spread, I'm gonna move myself along. There is a lot of variation between all the colors. And the best part about it is there doesn't have to necessarily be theory here. There's always that trick of going to the color wheel and finding your contrasting colors and your analogous colors. But here, as you can see right here, there aren't too many rules that need to be followed. Gorpcore kind of thrives in that I'm just winging it look. Bam, right here. What I'm saying is you can go from a very monochrome grayscale fit to a very colorful fit, and I feel like the look thrives in both environments. No pun intended. I'm just saying. All right, now we're switching it up. Ooh, it's kind of freaking cold now, all right? Okay, now moving on to one of the most quintessential parts of Gorpcore, and that is... I'm gonna let you guess what this is. These 3 looks are a product of layering, correct? Thank you for answering my question. It can go anywhere from right here where the items are kind of just loosely laid on top of each other, to here where they're almost kind of color blocked and sectioned off, to here where everything kind of serves a function and is layered in that regard. And like we were talking about with color, where there's really no rules, Gorpcore really thrives on that same principle when it comes to layering. And I feel like everything looks kind of good in this way too, right? Now, I'm going to give you some key ingredients on what you can be layering with. And here we're going to start with one, the beanie. Obviously a very popular piece. Down jackets, honestly, down material in general. A down vest is really good. A fleece vest, probably one of the most Gorpcore things there is. Very native to this style, and it doesn't really branch out to other styles like the beanie. Obviously, you'll see in everything. The Gore-Tex, very familiar if you like techwear, it's been around. And also just Gore-Tex right now is like the hard seltzer of fashion. It's just everywhere. General, the windbreaker shape. Here we even got some cargo pants and of course some nylon pants or some ripstop pants to really tie everything together. Let me just get rid of that. And bam, this is kind of the mood board right here. Very key pieces, doesn't really matter the color, layered on top of each other is nice. Proportions we'll get into in a bit, but I think the key with a lot of these really cool fits is a lot of the pieces are layered with each other. And since Gorpcore is really focused on the aesthetic of function, if all the layers serve their function in the fit, whether it being utilized or not, it will come together beautifully. Now, what is the difference between a functional Gorpcore fit and a runway Gorpcore fit? Alright, well obviously stuff on the runway isn't necessarily meant to be worn on the street. Okay, bang, here I have some examples of some runway Gorpcore, but for these pieces, you can see a lot of the key elements of Gorpcore being used in the design. Like right over here, you see this crazy ass yellow right here. On this, you see this very contrasting orange, and over here you see a primary color medley of blue, yellow, you even got some greens and some reds. So there's a lot of utilization of the Gorpcore color palette, and also on top of that, materials. Here, a lot of nylon, a lot of waterproof stuff going on over here. Same for here. Over here, the utilization of the down jacket. It's even on the bags, I just realized. Look at that. That's fucking crazy. But yeah, Gorpcore as an aesthetic has definitely hit the runway, and obviously it's not going to be as functional as it is in reality. But hey, is runway fashion ever? And also, back to that again, you're not going to really be using all the waterproof tech, but this is really just to show the potential of the style if you really want to take it far with the styling, or if you want to kind of tone back with a more functional utilization of the fits. Okay, now we're going to move on to proportions, and in my opinion, this is probably one of the biggest things that separates techwear from Gorpcore, because techwear, traditionally speaking, is pretty slim fitting, right? As we can see here, even though functionality is quote-unquote king when it comes to both of these styles, I feel like the proportions kind of separate what makes what. Materials might be the same, the colors might be very similar, and there might even be some slim Gorpcore fits, as we can see right here, but in most cases, I feel like the style isn't really defined by its proportions as techwear is. And now with some other aesthetics, we got some normcore and we got some vintage, where a very loose fitting and nuanced fit is very prevalent. And honestly, you can also see the same thing for Gorpcore. I feel like straight fit cargos and you know, jackets that don't necessarily fit too close to your body represent the aesthetic more. And also with the introduction of stuff like down jackets and stuff, the nature of the materials make it kind of hard to be very form-fitting anyways. So this end of the spectrum all the way over here to this end of the spectrum, right? Let's say this one over here is loose. Let me just get that in big. And this end of the spectrum is form-fitting. Bang. All right, easy. So obviously, we're going to get some techwear on the form-fitting part of it. That is the nature of that look. And let's say, just as an example, we're going to get some vintage on the loose end, because I'd say vintage, the aesthetic, the overall vibe kind of fits that loose aspect more. And as I was talking earlier, Gorpcore outfits also fit in that loose category. As you can see with this fit, a very loose jacket with some wide trousers looks amazing falling into this part of the spectrum. And over here, we have that fit from earlier that isn't necessarily form-fitting, but isn't necessarily loose. It fits right in the middle. And with this guy over here who has some pretty slim pants, they're cropped. Well, let's just put it over here a little bit into the form-fitting area. Gorpcore kind of looks good across the board, if we're being completely honest. We can agree that techwear looks really good when it's form-fitting. Vintage looks very good when you're not really trying. And with Gorpcore, you can kind of go anywhere. You know what I mean? You can kind of put the style anywhere on the spectrum and get away with it. You want to go right down the middle? Be my guest. You trying to lounge out at the ski cabin? Be my guest. All right, so we talked a little bit about the meaning and the techniques behind the Gorpcore aesthetic. So now it's time to enter the material part. It's the Material Girl part of the video, which is the brands. And these are some of the most popular brands that go alongside the aesthetic. And starting off first, we got Arc'teryx, which is probably the most popular one. This is probably the most hype beast one, right? Over here, we got its older, bigger, actually, in my opinion, more catered towards the aesthetic brother, Patagonia, which some Nike ACG if you want to go up there, kind of a hybrid with techwear and stuff. But of course, the two styles are interchangeable. LL Bean if you're all about function and don't actually care about brands and stuff, even though you could probably get the same type of look with this too. Salomon makes some cool shoes. Of course, the 11 by BBS Salomon stuff is some of my favorite. The North Face, another big staple household name. And we got And Wander, which has some cool modern cuts. But regardless of the brand, I feel like Gorpcore is kind of hard to shop retail considering the prices are always so crazy. Of course, it's easy to pitch $800 if you're selling a jacket that has Gore-Tex Pro Shell technology, right? It's gonna be so much more easy to justify than a Balenciaga t-shirt that you're buying $400. Like, sure, you might like the brand, but this is offering you protection from the weather. That is what humans have been evolving for millennia. What I'm saying here is, regardless of the brand, Arc'teryx, North Face, Patagonia, the retail is always really expensive. So you can either hunt sales or you could go to Grailed and just type in like windbreaker. I barely know her. And bam, you'll get a bunch of windbreakers. Some might be branded, some might not be. You can kind of scroll and find some cool stuff. Like here, bam, what is this? $25. Look at this, like I stole this from my dad. You could keep scrolling, just keep scrolling. You can like, this is a Gore-Tex windbreaker, $63. You want to pay that or you want to pay $799? And also this hot pink, look at this. I support breast cancer too. Protect your breasts. But if you want to find some brands that you might want to keep your eye on or maybe even shop, if you have the money, I like going to websites like Farfetch or something, going to clothing, and then here there's an active wear section, which is essentially Gorpcore, right? It's just another word, it's just repackaged. There's gonna be a whole lot of stuff, like look at this. This is a Six jacket, kind of crazy. Holden, never really heard of the brand. I'll be holding on to my wallet with prices like this though. But just in case you kind of like the piece and maybe you might even like the brand, again, I would probably just save it on my Karma and then probably like keep an eye on it. Now, if you want a better in-depth run-through and a more thorough guide into Gorpcore, I highly suggest checking out this article on Grailed, which I'm going to pretend I didn't learn everything from and just steal from. But this article does a great run-through on pretty much everything I talked about and more, and just gives more analysis on each individual piece. And here we got the phase of this. Just a little history on each brand and stuff, and then even some example pieces. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video and hope you learned something about Gorpcore. Maybe you might like it now and you might get into it. And if you found this format entertaining, I am now streaming twitch.tv/ right here, Vans at the Met Gala. Crazy. I'm almost at 10K. We're going nuts. But yeah, this is kind of how I am when I stream. Kind of just talk fashion, hanging out with the boys, and yeah, and go follow me on there. And again, thank you to the lovely folks over at Karma for sponsoring today's video. Go click the link in the description. Go get Karma. I showed you that I use this all the time. Like I used it inadvertently in the middle of recording. But yeah, go get Karma. Follow me on Twitch. Welcome to 2022. Only bangers. If you liked this format of me just kind of screen recording and talking live, unscripted, unhinged, let me know in the comments. I don't read them. Thank you for watching. Good old raisins and peanuts.
All right, one more time. One more time. You'll get it next. You'll get it this time.
Good old penis and raisins. Good old penis.